Hey everybody, it's Ron, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Dune graphic novel. This thing just came out last month and I finally finished it, so here are my thoughts. This book is obviously an adaptation of the first book in the Dune series by Frank Herbert, and I think it's going to be broken up into 3 different graphic novels. It's adapted by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, who cover all of the Dune prequel books, and it's illustrated by Raoul Alain and Patricia Martin. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing anything. So first I want to start with the production of this thing because I was not expecting this quality. I would have been happy with just a floppy trade paperback, but I was surprised to see it in a really well done hardcover and slipcase. The material is fantastic, and I'll go as far as saying this is one of the best looking and feeling hardcovers for a comic that I've seen in a while. The book has a nice preface by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, basically talking about what Dune means to them. Digging into the book itself, I'll start with the art. First of all, it's very well done, but I'm still 50-50 on whether this was the right style for a Dune graphic novel. To me, this art is more suitable for an indie comic, maybe on someone's creator-owned project for Image or something, and I guess in my head I had a different style in mind. Something a little more realistic, a nice balance at least between comic-style art and photorealism. Stuff like this will always be a problem with novel adaptations, especially Dune, and everyone is going to have their own vision of what it should be like. Just because this didn't match up with mine 100% doesn't mean it wasn't executed well, and I did like a lot of the character designs, especially Gurney and Lady Jessica. I was a little disappointed to see that Duke Leto didn't have a beard, and it's funny that something so minor could annoy me, but I guess that is how I always pictured him. I also didn't love the new design for the still suits that much, but maybe that's because I've always pictured them being black, and it doesn't help that so far both films have had the black suits. The coloring in this book is at its best in the desert sequences, but I don't know how I feel about the parts pertaining more to the Atreides being mostly blue, and I've always saw Castle Caladan as being more in line with how it's presented in something like the new Dune trailer. I think they really captured the look better, but I did like the red hue that was used for the Harkonnen parts. That worked well for me. The Baron's design is pretty solid, but I wish his facial expressions were a little more intimidating. I think they did a good job making Piter look creepy, and I think they could have done a little more to make the Baron look scarier in my opinion. It's very nice to be able to visualize the events in this book, and I thought the pacing was really well done while still giving important information to make this story more accessible to new readers without compromising the messaging of the original book. I think it's a great idea to do this with Dune because they get to show you things that are only mentioned in the book briefly, like the Battle of Arrakeen. It was cool to see the Harkonnen weaponry, and it was a terrifying visual seeing the city burning with the Baron looking on with pleasure. This book ends pretty much right when Jessica and Paul escape to the desert, and I'm excited to see how the Fremen are portrayed in the next installment. I'm glad they are splitting up this book into 3 volumes because they won't have to rush any aspects of the novel, and it will ultimately stay more true to it, which is nice. I know a lot of Dune fans have problems with Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson's control over the Dune universe, but as a semi-new fan, I have yet to see them do anything to disrespect the legacy of Frank's work, and I think they're doing a good job both with the graphic novel and the Dune House Atreides comic series. I also haven't read every one of their books yet, so that opinion could definitely change. I think this is a great way to get into Dune if you haven't read the novel yet, and I think this could work both ways. It's fun for someone who has read the book a bunch of times, and I think it'll also get people to read the actual book after they've gone through the graphic novel to get a more detailed description of this world. I can't wait to have all these books on my shelf next to the novels, and I'm looking forward to the next installment. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and thanks for watching.